So 21% of leadership positions are held by women in the US, and 27% of the seats in Congress are held by women in the US. I'm gonna add one more statistic on there. Women make 82 cents on the dollar compared to men. These are just some of the staggering statistics that make up what we call the gender gap, the gap between what men and women are doing. Now, if we add in the extra element of women of color, people of color, those numbers get even more staggering. I am on a mission to change that. There are so many obstacles that stand in the way, both internal and external, for women and people of color. And one of the things that I try to do is work with emerging leaders, and sometimes I would say people who don't even know that they're leaders yet, to identify those obstacles and figure out ways to break them down. So one of the things I want to talk about is leadership and our definition of leadership. Because let's be honest, the way we think about leadership today and those thousands of books that exist and those millions of quotes that we love to read on social media that were written by leaders were mostly written by a very specific group of people. Old, rich, white men. It was their experience. It's not my experience. One of the problems with these definitions is that women and people of color can't see themselves in those definitions. That's on purpose. Because when people hold leadership power, they want to keep it. So they keep that definition really specific to them. But today, I want you to join me on this little journey of expanding that definition of leadership, ever so slightly, in the hopes that you will see yourself in this definition. Today is talking about what we're going to do about it, but I want to be really clear. This is not your fault. You didn't create the patriarchy. You didn't create the situation that we're in. You didn't create the business structures that exist. Even if you're running your own business, this is so much bigger than us. So today, are we going to be able to shift the wage gap for all women in the United States? No, absolutely. We might shift it a little bit, and that's okay. And I want us to take ownership of what we have no control over. That doesn't mean you shouldn't call your senators, make sure you're electing officials, right, and donating to organizations that help support pay equity and gender equity. But what it does mean is you don't have to take responsibility for that. So today what I want to talk about is what we can take responsibility for. And even within that, we're going to be talking about how certain things that we do as women are a result of our socialization, how we were brought up, especially in this country in particular, and how the patriarchy influences, right, so much of who we are, because that's the system we live within.